With several state titles to his credit, world ranked at number 22, it's Neil Furman. Ladies and gentlemen, his opponent, the Welsh Wizard, former Welsh International Open champion, world ranked at number 12, it is Jason Greenslade.
Thanks very much, Johnny, and morning viewers. Welcome to this Wednesday morning here at the Just 2017 World Indoor Bowls Championship. And welcome to my fellow commentator, Darren Burnett. Glad to have you with us again this morning, Darren.
Yeah, thanks very much, Janice. Looking forward to another good game here on the rink. Neil Furman has been on this rink quite a few times over the last few years, so he'll be no stranger to the conditions. Jason obviously on a high, reaching the pairs final, so it should be a good game.
Jason immediately sends the jack off. In the pairs, of course, he's skipped the pairing of Les Gillett and himself, so hasn't sent many jacks out there, and we have said this many times. I know that the jacks seem to skim across the surface. Neil's actually made a point of having a session of his practice sending jacks, so first jack set.
Jack length 27 metres.
Yeah, well, we're live here on YouTube with you this morning. If you have any questions you want to ask, as usual, if you put them down on the chat, we'll try and answer them for you. But we're all here at the fantastic Potters Resort at Hopton-on-Sea for a full day's games here. All 4 games today are part of the Open Singles Tournament. Couple of loose opening bowls there, both found the line, just not the pace. The pace is changing quite frequently out there, Darren, the players are saying.
Yeah, absolutely. I watched last night's game between David Gourley and Chris Gale, and after the first few ends, they just both seemed to go kind of walkabout a wee bit, and when they came off the green, they said the pace just dropped considerably about 20 minutes into the game, so obviously changing conditions throughout the day.
I think Neil will hope to just adjust his first delivery. Jason's certainly given him a bit of room.
Two green.
Jason looks on a better line here. Not sure his weights. Oh, he's just managed to slip inside the 2 green bowls. Still plenty of room.
Jason bowl 2.5 feet.
Better pace here from Neil. Good adjustment.
Yeah, good ball from Neil there. In fairness, his first 2 bowls were on a
great.
perfect line, just pushed through slightly, made the adjustment, a great third bowl.
a similar sort of bowl for Jason. This can just do with rest in the green. Firm and bowl, just under the line.
Chance for Neil just to,
Red ball,
to
your
drop
back
a
ball.
second one in here.
2.5 inches.
I think it's a forehand draw. If he is just carrying a bit of pace, he could actually land the red ball and make more shots. But ideally, just a forehand draw. Try and draw a second shot.
Looks down a good track again. Umpire being called into action at the first end here. Marker for this game is Dan Blewett.
One green,
Umpire
measure
is
for second.
Mike Davies. On the shot clock, we've got the shot clock king himself, Tom Weir. Looks like it's just the one green.
One shot, Neil Furman.
Yeah, I was speaking to Neil yesterday at dinner, and he feels he's played reasonably well at previous events here, and just unfortunately one or two loose ends have probably cost him. And he is a fairly steady player, and the more he comes over and plays on the rink, the better he's going to get. I think currently sitting number 22 in our rankings, so you know, a good event here, and he would be climbing up close to top 16.
Yes, looking at the rankings, he's actually the top ranked
Jack length,
overseas
27.5
player.
meters.
So he'll know if he can tie a few games together here at the World Championships. It's double ranking points here. So he was saying to me he didn't manage to make the qualifiers for the Scottish International Open, but kind of put all his eggs in one basket and hoped to get through a few rounds here at the Worlds. But it's hard for the overseas, Darren, because they're having to, I particularly spoke to Neil in commentary about this, they have to self-fund from the USA. They don't get any help from any of the bowls authorities over there, so he has to pay his own way. And if he was to qualify in all three events, and all three ranking events are currently in the UK, it would become a very expensive job.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I had that conversation with him yesterday as well, and he indicated he didn't put himself forward for the World Outdoor Championships in New Zealand purely just on sort of a finance basis. You know, it is a costly business if you're not receiving the support, so a lot of people from these countries are in that position, unfortunately.
One green.
Down a good track here from Jason. Might have
One
just
red.
made shot, yeah. Confirmed by marker Dan Blewett.
He'll just coming down the backhand again here, just a slight adjustment on his previous delivery, and he would draw the shot.
Looking good.
Fantastic ball from you there.
One green.
Very
4
steady
inches.
player, sets his practice schedule out very professionally. But then if you're travelling that sort of distance, you want to give yourself every sort of a chance when you get here.
Jason just pulling up on the short side here. I think he had the line. You could see he was trying to encourage the ball on, but he knew he was just probably pulling up short.
Mentioned before, we've got 4 games for you today. If you can stay with us this afternoon, we've got Jonathan Ross versus James Rippey, followed by Greg Harlow versus Anthony Webb. And tonight's game is Robert Paxson versus Billy Jackson. Neil Furman just played a really good bowl there.
Yeah, it's a great start from Neil. That'll settle him into this game. You know, obviously it is difficult for overseas players who probably don't get the practice on this type of facility that we do. So Neil will be really happy with the way he's settled into the game.
Oh, Jason looks in the area with this. Very close. Unfortunate, but managed to save one, I think. That one green.
Yeah, good,
One shot,
good
Neil Furman.
running shot from Jason there. He was probably unlikely to score at the end. He would have to get a very good result to get the shot. But yeah, he's cut it from 2 to 1, so he'll be happy with
Score
that running ball.
0-2 after 2 ends.
Yes, Neil was well aware that that's the sort of shot Jason is very, very confident and good at playing. He was just hoping to put the pressure on Jason to force him into those shots.
Jack length 26.5 metres.
Going to be an interesting crowd this afternoon. I was talking to James Rippey at dinner last night, and I believe there's coach loads coming from both James's club and Tony Webb's club, and I'm informed they're quite vocal, Darren, so that could be interesting.
Yeah, that could make for a good atmosphere in the arena this afternoon. I've certainly had the pleasure of playing a couple of local players here in Tin Stone previously, and actually Mervyn, who's not too far from the venue, so it definitely adds to the atmosphere. But in fairness, the crowd are reasonably fair and just appreciate good bowls.
Yes, it's certainly an amazing auditorium to play bowls in, especially when it's a packed crowd out there. I think somewhere around 1,300 seats in total. When you get to the latter stages of the events, and it's a packed house, it's an amazing place to play bowls.
Neil on a good line again, just got to pull up slightly short, but not that bad. Jason just needs to try and get his strong weight together here. He may elect to run this, knowing Jason, he likes to play attacking bowls.
Looks under. Somebody asked yesterday, and we didn't get a chance to answer the question as to why the marker comes up past the head and watches the running bowl run towards the head. Why do they do that? It's so that they can more easily see if the bowl touches the jack. As a runner, they need to keep an eye on whether that bowl needs chalking and whether it stays live. It's easier to do that if they walk up to the other side of the head. They're not trying to get out of the way, as somebody commented yesterday.
No, not at all. Jason going quicker this time. He looks like he's making contact with something.
There you go. Dan could clearly see there that the red ball did not touch the jack.
2 green.
It's quite nice when a player does that, when you've just given an explanation to a question and they go again. Yeah,
kind of a one-ball shootout here now. Although Neil's line 2, I'm quite sure they'll not count at the end of the end, so it's like a one ball singles. Whoever draws closer to the jack will win the end.
Just overplayed Neil here.
3 green.
Big chance for Jason to get on the scorecard here. Currently ranked at 12, Jason. Did get to the final of the Scottish International Open 2 years ago, where he lost to Greg Harlow.
One shot, Jason Greenslade.
But he's one of the players that's in the danger area, so to speak.
Set score 1-2 after 3 ends.
Players have started to go in and out of the top 16 quite fairly frequently recently. We've got new players in. So Jason will be well aware he needs to try and tie a few games together.
Jack length 24 metres.
Shorter jack from Jason.
Yeah, pulled them up here, so I wish I decided to try and change the tactics, just to maybe try and put Neil off a bit.
That looks a very wide line. It's a nice swinging forehand this, but on a shorter length, it kind of does that to you. It just hangs off.
1 red.
Yeah, Neil just looking for a similar ball to his first, really. He just found the gap, so similar line and weight, and just hope for a different connection. I think he's just overplayed it this time.
Perfect bowl if the jack had been on the tee. Let's go from Jason
2 red.
there. Needs to swing now. Great bowl.
Super bowl from Neil there. He just made the adjustment off his last. Just cut a bit of pace off it, and it bent into the jack
Great.
beautifully.
Jason coming to have a look at this now. Both playing with reasonably swinging bowls out there. For those of you that like to know what bowls players are playing with, Jason Greenslade is playing with Henselite Tigers.
Yes, green wins the
Neil
spot.
Furman has elected to play with Taylor International, which is the same bowl as David Gourlay played with last night. Jason looking to just try and tip the jack or bowl. It might just hang off, that sort of pace on this length.
Yeah, so Neil just a similar bowl to his last, really. Just try and make the sort of second shot, get a double on the card. As long as he plays it with good weight, there's not really much danger.
on a good track again. Not sure whether it's making the trip.
One shot, Neil Furman.
No, settles for a 1. He was 3-1 up in the first set after 4 ends.
Set score 1-3 after 4 ends.
Neil just playing that medium
Jack length
length of
25
jack.
1/2 metres.
Certainly has utilised his practice sessions. I've had a couple of sessions practicing with Neil, and very deliberate on where he wants to place his jack. Studies what his opponent's strengths are.
Yeah, I think he's settled into the match well. As I say, he'll be delighted the way he started the game, getting balls in reasonably close, not giving anything cheap away. So Jason just kind of scratching about for pace at the moment.
10 inches.
So Neil will just be trying to keep putting them in there and keep Jason under a bit of pressure.
Yeah, all 4 ends. We've only seen 1 shot at each end counted. Tight game still, anybody's at the moment.
2.5 feet, Jason. 2.5 feet.
If you can't stick with us, all the results and news are on worldbowlstour.tv, the website. But hopefully you can stick with us for the rest of today. Something's wrong with this.
1 green.
Yeah, it's becoming a common theme in a lot of matches now, Janice. When people are failing, they seem to just be feeling neat. I think they're expecting the ball just to run out a bit more, and they're just sort of pulling up.
Yes, we were saying yesterday, nobody's really
2 green.
nailed the length of the jack out there. We saw that last night with the David Gawley game. David had played superbly in the pairs. Just struggled a bit with the pace last night when it changed. Probably the one to put them consistently close so far is your pairs partner,
green.
Stuart Anderson. He played
18
very
inches
well
past.
yesterday.
Yeah, he certainly played a really consistent game. He never gave Julie much chance. In fairness, Julie started the match at end 1 really well, but Stuart just played a very, very consistent game, which is quite common of Stuart's game, to be fair. He's a great drawer of the game, and if he's getting them in, he's going to be putting people under pressure.
Well, Neil's on a good track again here.
Yeah, I think he's line 3.
3 green.
Not much on for Jason, really. He's 3 down. It's just a backhand draw. Just has to negotiate his own 2 balls.
Got that away with a little bit of a wobble. It looks like it's staying on the high line. Can it come back? Well, we're just saying about a big count might make the difference here. From our angles, it could be 3 green.
3 shots, Neil Furman.
He just pushed out on the high
Set
line there,
score,
Jason, and it
1-6
just
after
didn't
5
quite get
minutes.
back. He was obviously carrying a slight bit of pace, but had that been on the inside line, I'm quite sure it would have been good weight to draw the shot. It wasn't his last ball that cost him that end, and he'll know that himself. It's his first 2 and 3 balls aren't just getting in close enough, and Neil's playing really consistent as he tends to do, and at the moment he's got a good lead.
6-1. We're into end 6. There's 4 ends left. We play 2 sets of 9 ends, and if necessary, a 3-end tie break.
Jack Lenz, 27 and a
Don't
half
forget, if
minutes.
you've got any questions you'd like answered, if you put them to us on the chat, we'll try and see what we can do. High line from Jason here. We'll make it all the way back if it's a decent length.
It's just the pace that's catching Jason out at the moment. His lines are reasonably good, but just not quite nailing the pace of the rink so far.
Three feet.
Much better ball from Jason that time.
Red.
Good adjustment on his first delivery.
6 inches.
It's the first time that Neil's been under a little bit of pressure. He's still got a 6-1 lead though. Just needs to get another ball in close really. It's not on the widest of lines here.
No, just underplayed, so Jason will be trying to step in here and draw a second shot.
Neil just coming to have a look at this.
1 red.
Of course, they're under shot clock rules, so as long as he's delivered his bowl before 30-second countdowns up, he can go up and look at the head whenever he wants. You can follow every bowl up if you've got the energy. But on that occasion, I think he was just having a look which hand was best to try the draw off. Could he get round the red bowl of Jason's? Looks good here.
Marvellous effort here, I think he's drawn this.
Well played, Neil.
1 green.
Pressure back on Jason. Bit of a shake of the head there from the Welsh wizard. Oh, he's in all sorts of trouble in this first set. Neil Furman, world rank 22, certainly playing very well. Jason electing to play a runner in the area, very close.
Might have made a 1. Very close.
And I'm just
Slight
having a
favour
look
red.
at favours the red.
Measure, please.
But umpire being called on. You see, he played a lot of decent timers in the pairs, Darren, so he seems to have got his eye in for the timing shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Jason plays a quite attacking game, and it was a good running ball. He was a wee bit unfortunate to push the green ball out with the jack. If that hadn't happened, he might have scored more than one, but we just slightly favour. He's just managed to make the shot here.
Yep, looks like it there. Mike Davis will just...
One shot, Jason
Yep, it's been
Greenslade.
declared. Change of length, I'm short. Matt back from Jason.
Set score 2-6 after 6 ends.
Looks like he's going for reasonably long length jack. We've seen a lot of the players
Jack left
prefer
28.5
to play
metres.
longer lengths on here. Saying that it'll be interesting this afternoon. We have Greg Harlow playing the second game this afternoon. His preference has always been for shorter length jacks. It'll be interesting to see what Greg does, give us an indication whether that's the preference of all the players out there, Darren.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the jack tends to run across the surface quite quickly, so I think trying to throw a really short jack can be pretty difficult, you know, unless you pull the mark right up and you try and land it on the tee. That's probably the easiest way to get a very short jack. So, you know, most players just seem to settle into the mid to longer lengths. It just seems to be a natural length people play, but there are those who like the shorter ones and will try and use that tactic early in a match.
Well, better opener here from Jason. Choosing to play the backhand down away from our commentary position. Good again here.
2 red.
Better end from Jason, obviously forcing Neil to come down the other side of the rink.
Tighter line. You'll have to be good weight on that line or it'll just whip under. Needs a bit of an edge.
2 red.
Just finishing short this one of Jason's. Still a chance for Neil.
Neil seems to be shaping up on his forehand. I can only imagine he's going to attack this.
The area. He was unlucky there. I think he was looking for his own green bowl to actually split the 2 reds. He only halved it rather than getting it full.
2 red.
Again, he's not a player that likes a head to build up against him. He's got a very good running bowl.
Jason will certainly be trying to draw this one in. There's loads of room, so if you can drop this one in for 3, Neil's going to have to make a decision.
3 red.
It's really got to be a draw, I think, for Neil. You know, he's 3 down. There's plenty of room to at least save the head. If he does go again, then he's got to make the target.
Opting for his favoured forehand here.
Needs to run.
Not made it. I think it might still be 3.
3-0.
Umpire being called out to look at the third.
Umpire, just on this one.
I think Neil does probably right to call for a measure on this. It's an important shot, as well as the fact that he's just played probably his loosest end of the game. Just gives himself that time to calm, refocus.
Two red, measure for third.
Yeah, the key ball was the third ball in Neil's when he elected to run. He didn't get the greatest contact, and he could pay a costly price for this end.
It's like 3 to me.
Three shots, Jason Greenslade.
Well, that makes this first set a totally different affair. One in it now with 2 ends to play.
Set score 5-6 after 7 ends.
One of the questions coming in is how to adjust to the speed of the portable rink for an overseas player who probably doesn't have the opportunity to play in these conditions. There's no real simple answer to that other than to try and get as much practice in the conditions in the arena as possible prior to the event. It's really the only answer I can give to that. It's the same obviously for us. Obviously we were over in New Zealand recently on their outdoor conditions. You know, the speed of the greens was close to 19-20 seconds, very windy conditions, and there's nothing in the UK that we can play on that could replicate that. So it's role reversal for us obviously in the outdoor championships when we have to go southern hemisphere. The only way we can really practice is to try and get out there and practice in their conditions, because we can't replicate that. So it's very similar for an overseas player coming here.
Yes, you tend to find the overseas players will arrive with plenty of time, give themselves time to recover from jet lag or anything like that,
Yeah,
and plenty of time on the rink. Of course, some of the qualifiers, actually qualification is on outdoor greens. A few of the countries don't have indoor facilities.
One red.
Just an adjustment on his line for Neil here. His weight wasn't bad with his first. Just overplayed this. Better line from Jason here. What's his weight like? Just short, done enough though.
Two red.
I was saying earlier, Darren, we are seeing a lot of short bowls played at various different times of the day.
Yeah, bang on cue. Janice Neil's just put a loose ball here. Just needs to settle himself down. You know, he's played so well in the set. He doesn't want to throw it away cheaply. You know, if Jason plays good bowls to win it, then that's different. But he doesn't want to throw the set away to sort of just being a cheap end.
Jason slots another bowl in here, holds 3. I think it's going to make the trip enough to get the 3.
Three red.
It's almost damage limitation for Neil now. I think he should probably be running into this head, try and take at least a couple of the balls out. It's a difficult draw.
Yeah, not a bad line at all.
result. I think he's cut it down to 1, puts him even up the last end. So it was a good shot selection, and he almost got the perfect result.
Jason. One shot, Jason Greenslade.
Yeah, if it had just missed the edge on Jason's short bowl, he might have even got the jack clean through into the
Set
ditch.
score,
But
6-6 after
to
8
get
hits.
2 away, Neil will be happy with that. All square, playing the last.
I think the key to the last few ends is Neil's been forced into a couple of running bowls, so obviously we've touched on how difficult it is for the overseas players to be consistent in these conditions. What they don't want to be doing is running too often, because it can affect your draw weight.
Jack
So
length 29 and a
Neil
half
just has to
inches.
try and settle back into his draw this last end. It's a massive end for both players.
Full length jack. Well, what a time to play a good opener, Jason Greenslade. Neil on his preferred forehand. Nice swing back to the jack here. Doesn't look a bad line. I think it might just not have enough weight.
The gap is 6 inches.
Just wants something just behind now. Great shot there of Jason's close bowl. It's almost like playing a tie-break end here, Darren. It doesn't matter how many you count, you just want to count the end.
Yeah, and Jason's played probably 2 of his best opening bowls of the match. Decision time for Neil. Still very drawable off his forehand, but he may elect to go quick, try and open it up.
On for the draw. Got to be perfect weight on this hand or it'll just hang off.
Super effort here, Janice. Very close. Just doesn't want to drop on the jack.
It sits down. What a bowl.
One green. Gap is 4 inches.
Well, that was a very confident draw from Neil. Don't think Jason will be short at this. No. His own red bowl in the middle of your screen gets him some sort of result.
Yeah, well, he's opened it up. Jack will go into the respot position, so slight advantage to Neil. He has 2 bowls left, whereas Jason's only got 1 to come.
So the marker very carefully making sure that the jack is absolutely directly on the respot.
Pretty good effort here, Janice. This is an excellent bowl from Neil.
I'll let you into a little secret here, Darren. Neil and I practiced the respots the other night, and he was awesome at them. He really was. I said to him, I said, you know how some of these golf events have these 3 shot playoff things before an event started? I was wondering whether I should suggest to the CEO of the World Bowls Tour if we had a respot game before the event started, and my money would have been on Neil Furman then, so.
Time out called.
But I wasn't going to
Jason
jinx
has
him
4
before he
times.
sent that.
No, absolutely not. That's a fantastic bowl. You know, he's put Jason under all sorts of pressure here. There's no target, there's no obvious hit. I really think Jason's just got a forehand draw. He's probably got about 3 or 4 inches to draw the shot.
But again, going back to Neil practicing the respots, that was He'd very professionally looked at what Jason's game is and thought he might be in a position where he had to draw to the respot a number of times. Jason's on a good track.
One shot in the first set, Neil Thurman.
The effort from Jason just pulled up slightly short. He was on a good line, as you say. Neil's third ball that end was a superb ball and probably worthy of winning any set.
Well, Neil will go back to his three-quarter jack, I think.
Jack length 28 metres.
Gone a bit longer than he did do in the first set, 28 metres.
Good line, Neil, just running through a couple of feet past the jack. I think Jason will be keen to start this set well. That was probably the problem the last set. He just gave himself in the end too much to do. He came back into it, but just fell at the last end. So I think he'll be keen to start this set much better. It's a great open ball.
Well, we've seen a couple of the top 16 go out already. Andy Thompson, MBE, lost to Irish qualifier Graham McKee. And then Mark Dawes lost to Scottish qualifier Charlie Benz. A couple of scalps gone already. Jason Greenslade, another seed to lose the first set. He won't be the next wanting to be the next seed to go out. Of course, he and his partner Les Gillett have already made the final of the World Open pairs. That's the first televised game
Two red.
on the BBC on Monday, but of course you'll still get it on our stream coverage as well.
Neil just needs to take his time here. He'll do well to walk down the rink and just have a look at this, take a time out. It's going to be a big last ball here for him. He's going to be 3 down, 3 good balls from Jason. Just what he wanted at the start of the second set.
Yes, and he's not made any bigger target with that last bowl. He's looking at the running bowl. It's really the sort of
Time out.
shot where you just have
Neil
to
has 4
be
timeouts
confident in what you're going to play. There is the forehand draw to rest on the back red bowl. Not much of a target, Darren, to hit.
No, not at all. It's basically a single ball target. He has to draw certainly with inside maybe 9-10 inches, so he might just select to take a chance at this.
Yeah, going big. Gets one away.
Yeah, obviously decided that it was a tough draw this early in the second set. He was going to risk a runner, and he's probably going to drop a 3 now.
Don't forget, if you can't stay with us, all the results are on worldbowlstour.tv. We've got 2 games for you this afternoon and 1 this evening.
Three shots, Jason Greenslade.
Great start for the number 12 ranked player in the world, Jason Greenslade, the Welsh wizard. He, of course, has to win this set to take us into a tie break.
Jack length 29.5 metres.
So loose opener from Jason there, out on the high line, just didn't push through it, so chance for Neil to step in first.
Jason swap to the forehand. And if it's perfect weight, it'll make it all the way back to centre rink.
Good effort from Neil, just might fall off the seam yet.
It's close, Jason. Yes, measure.
Again, he's put this very high. Made it all the way back, Darren, so I think out there this morning the rink can't be running that badly.
Your last bowl is
Last night
15
it just
inches
seemed to
short
be
of Jack High.
hanging out.
Yeah, we're probably playing just about the maximum length here, so takes a nice big swing at that length, particularly the last part of its journey. If you've got good weight, it'll come right back.
Two green. Second shot is your... There. Is... Oh, sorry. Second shot is your short one.
Good effort from Neil there. He'll be quite pleased
Two
to
shots. Neil
have
Furman.
picked up a 1 this end. It was a great third ball right onto the jack, so
Set score 3-2 after 2 ends.
Yeah, that'll settle Neil down, picking up that 2. Yeah, gone back to his preferred length, 27 and a half
Jack length,
ish.
26.5 metres.
26 and a half. There you go. I was out by a metre. Very quick correction of our graphics then by our producer. Again, two loosish openers to this 26.5 metre jack. Different lines this, Darren, when the jack's off the tee.
Yeah, traditionally there's a couple of lines. Neil's just sort of coming down the inside line this time. Good effort. Yeah, there's this inside line. There is an outside track as well. You can pick up. I tend to find the inside line is just a touch heavier. But yeah, there's definitely a couple of roads coming down this backhand to get you back close to the middle.
It's good again here from Jason if he's adjusted his weight.
One red.
Just underplayed again by Neil.
Yeah, Jason just trying to repeat his last ball. Put another one in the area. Just a simple backhand draw.
Looks like two, Neil. Play for two.
Good track from Neil here. Make it back to the centre. Just overplayed again. Possibly two reds here. Jason, a
red.
chance of three.
Yeah, Jason will be rushing down to play this one. He'll be just looking to repeat his previous two balls on the backhand. Try and drop in for a third shot, give him a good lead.
Three shots, Jason Greenslade.
Another big count
Set
three
score,
for Jason in the
6-2
set.
after 3 ends.
Second time he's done it, so he goes 6-2 in front.
Jack length, 29 metres.
Again, sticking to his preferred longer length jack. Played it very well. Couple of ends going in this direction. Looks on a better line again here.
Yeah, another good opener from Jason. He's just starting to warm into this game. Neil just has to try and hang about with him. He doesn't have to win the set. A draw would be enough for him. Jason down a good track again, just going to pull up slightly short.
Needs an adjustment here. This looks under the line to me, Darren.
Yeah, Neil's just started to
2 red.
go off a touch here, and Jason will sense that if he can keep putting them in, then he's in a great position in this second set.
He came through a couple of tie breaks in the pairs. Jason's got that sort of game for a tie break, really.
Just carrying a
One
bit too
red.
much pace here, Jason. He's turned the jack sort of into a better position for Neil. Neil can get onto his favoured forehand again and just try and draw the shot. Any touch of the jack, he might make a 2.
Yeah, looks down a good line. Very good here if he could just get a touch on the jack. Well, like you say, Darren, Jason really set that up for him. It was unfortunate to hit
2
the
green.
jack hard, but it's meant that Neil got a glimmer of hope at this end, and he took it.
Jason's reaction certainly isn't one that he likes. I think he's pushed this out on a very wide line. I can't see him getting back from there.
Amazing how the power in a game can change just with one bowl. One good or one bad bowl can change things.
So Neil switches back onto his backhand. Obviously doesn't want to touch the jack out, but he needs to try and make this one count. Just don't know if he's got enough running.
No, he'll be disappointed
2
there.
shots.
Big
Neil Furman.
chance.
Yeah, slightly surprised he switched hands really. He would have had to touch the jack a considerable distance off the forehand to
Set
cause
score,
any damage.
6-4
So
after 4 ends.
he's put his forehand really well. He'd drawn a great shot with his third bowl, and I thought he might have just kept it and tried to get in with that third shot.
It tightens the setup. There's only 2 in it now. As you mentioned before, Darren, Neil only needs the draw in the second set. He won the first set by the narrowest of margins, 7-6.
Jack length 24 metres.
Lot shorter length jack this time, coming in this direction. Of course, Neil well aware the last 2 ends coming in this direction. Jason Greenslade's picked up a 3 to Neil Furman's jack delivery. Jason's body language didn't like that bowl. We'll see where it's arrived at. It's just hung high. It's got shot.
Neil's got a lot of work to do this time as well, just seems to be overplayed this.
Well, if this makes the trip, it's a good line. Done enough, I think.
2 red.
Again, Neil under pressure, playing towards the commentary box.
Yeah, and so often your first 2 balls in singles play are key, especially in the format we play. If you're not firing on all cylinders with your first 2, then you're always going to be faced with difficult situations. Again, Neil's just overplayed this. He's dropped the jack quite short, and it's just caught himself out.
Well, dropped 2 threes coming in this direction. The last twice he's played here. Jason slots another in here.
Three red.
Red. Neil needs to take that yard out. Looks such an easy draw when you see the head, but when you're out there, pace changes.
You just
Under
have to be
pressure.
wary of not overcompensating.
Must be better here, Darren.
It's a great ball. Very, very good ball from Neil there. It's easy just to overcompensate and pull up slightly short.
1 green.
A quick glance up to the commentary box there from Neil with a sigh of relief, I think.
Possibly 3. It's a long measure.
This is interesting because I'm sure Jason would like to run this ball out, but he was asking how many may be down on the re-spot. Neil's obviously 3 back balls now come into play.
Just trying to play that timer down to the bowl. Just dipping under.
1 shot. Neil Furman.
Set score 6-5 after 5 ends.
Be interesting on Neil's choice of jack length going in this direction. He's managed to beat Jason twice going in this direction on the full length jack.
Jack length 27 metres.
So Neil back down his forehand. I would say it's the hand in the whole match he's played sort of the most consistent. He's been getting a good line on it. Just nice, needs to try and keep his weight there. This is a good opener.
Yes, immediately forces Jason onto the backhand. He's played that quite consistently. It's been his preferred hand. All 4 hands are playable out there. Just whichever you prefer, really.
Another good ball here from Neil, just coming round the back of the jack. It's always a handy place.
Jason going early at this. Again, looks on target. 1 away.
Yeah, obviously try and make the connection onto both balls there or open the head up for his cell. He's only taking one out, so if Neil can just put it back, keeps Jason under a bit of pressure.
One green.
Good track again from Neil. Needs to run. Just not making the trick with this one.
2.5 feet. Shot bowl is 18 inches past jack height.
Jason playing it down the forehand now. Looks good. All on his pace, urging it on.
One red.
Just made it.
On the red bowl, gap is...
Yeah, just enough, Janice. It was Neil's opportunity just to try and put one in there where Jason drew to, and he would have tied the head up a wee bit. Now he's faced with a forehand draw. He beats his back when he'll probably make the shot.
Not sure on the pace of this. Just lacking again. Jason got a chance here. Drew another to the green bowl.
Yeah, Neil's just went walkabout too often now. He obviously played a great last ball the last end, but just searching about too often now with a few balls each end. So he'd be keen to just get back to his consistent drawing game. Jason, on the other hand, I'd be delighted if he could put another one in here and get a 2, open up a 3-shot lead.
Looks good for it. Just needs to run. Yep.
2 shots, Jason Greenslade.
That means Jason's 3 up with 3 ends to play.
Set
Crucial
score
end
8-5
this
after
next
6 ends.
end, the 7th end. We often say that in 9-end sets.
Jack led 29.5 metres.
And Jason opting for the full length jack. Just dropped a couple of foot short.
Yeah, it certainly leaves Neil a chance here to step in if he can get that first ball working. That's what served him well in the first set.
Looking good here, all on his pace. Great opener.
2.5 feet.
He's urging this on. I don't think this is making the trip either. Chance for Neil here. Doesn't really want to set a target up for Jason though, because Jason fears danger. He will run for any sort of head that builds up against him.
No, absolutely, but Jason's first 2 balls aren't going to help him anyway. They've finished short quite near the centre line, so Neil just tries to draw another another shot here, that's what he'll be looking for.
Needs to slip past the 2 red bowls. Not made the trip.
1 green.
Again, Jason's just pushed this out on a high line. It will start coming back, but I just don't think it's going to quite get back as far as he needs. It's another chance for Neil to get another ball in.
Yeah, I really do feel Neil has to take this opportunity now. 2 feet in his last will get him second bowl. Certainly reached. Done enough to get second, but it
Two
does
green.
give Jason a shoulder. Jason just had a look into the crowd there to his wife and daughter who are sat here supporting him. A little smile might have just relaxed him. Sometimes it's nice to just have a familiar face in the audience to look up to.
Jason's down the inside track here, but has he pushed it? He's trying to encourage the ball on, but I think he's just going to pull up short again.
2 green.
Chance for Neil here to score another shot.
So Neil, can you slot a third ball in here?
Got a chance on a good line.
Needs to run.
Two shots, Neil Furman.
Just pulls up slightly short. Two's good for Neil, but there's certainly been a couple of occasions where he's had the last ball
Set
and we look
score,
back at the end of the
8-7
game
after
and
7 innings.
feel there was a chance or two just to add an extra shot. So the two's good, it brings him back in the set. It's a set, as we've said already, he doesn't have to win, so next couple of ends are going to be crucial.
Still got 3 great games of bowls lined up for you today. At 2 o'clock this afternoon we have Jonathan Ross versus James Rippey.
Jack led
And we have
27
Greg
leads.
Harlow playing Anthony Webb. And your game this evening at 7:30 is Rob Paxton versus Billy Jackson. Great lineup. Stick with us. We're live with you for every game here on the World Bowls Tour YouTube. We're glad of your company.
Fantastic looking ball from Neil there. This forehand going away from us is the hand he's played the most consistent throughout the match. He seems to have settled on that hand, picked good lines most of the game. Jason coming down the other side of the rink. He'll be looking to get a close one in here or just turn Neil's ball off the jack to give him a look at the jack.
It's in the area. Neil would ideally like to get 2 shots at this end to really put the pressure on Jason. Jason's played so well, certainly in the pairs event. He's in a bit of trouble again here.
Could be a runner from Jason, he's up the forehand.
Close. Yeah, opened it up.
Well, I think we've still got one ball on the rink, so that's a bonus.
Yeah, a bit of a chuckle from the crowd when every ball disappeared off the rink, bar one. Good hit from Jason. Head was building up. Open it up. It's a drawing game again here to a displaced Jack.
Well, I just wonder if Neil has practiced the inside line to the respots. Janice, you touched on the fact he drew to the respots a lot, but it's not a shot people practice very often. He's just pulled up a bit short. His line was good.
Well, he certainly didn't practice that when I was with him. Game playing players such as Jason, who does play a very aggressive game.
Just over 3 feet, 3.5
To be
feet.
prepared to draw to jacks all over, but he's an international skip is Jason. He's got the experience on the rink as well. I think he'll have an idea where the line is. If he can get past the green bowl. That was the danger playing down there, Darren.
Yeah, it was. You know, it's a decision for Jason to make, and he's played the hand probably most of us would like to play, certainly. It's a more natural draw just to stick it out a bit wider and draw back to the jack. However, the danger was if he was a bit tight, he was going to get clogged on the green bowl. He's given Neil an opportunity here just to add a yard or run on his last, and he'll be lying a good shot. I'm just not sure he's pushed through this yet, Neil.
Needs to get past his own.
3 green.
Well, it's certainly closer than his last, and it will give Jason a bit of a headache. I think the difficulty for Jason is he would like to draw in the backhand because, as I say, it's the natural hand. Most of us would choose to draw that shot, but he's just pulled it in a touch
Jason
and
has
clogged
3 timeouts
his
remaining.
lead down. The forehand offers him opportunities just to draw around the green ball. He would certainly get a second shot, if not the shot, so wouldn't be surprised to see him change on to the forehand.
Yep, setting up for the forehand. Either side of the green bowls. I think he might have pushed this, Darren.
I think his weight's bad, but I think he's went on a high line. It just depends how much it hooks at the end.
He pushed it wide, probably wanting to avoid catching Neil's bowls. One declared.
One shot, Neil Furman.
Neil had a good look at it. If he wasn't sure, options there to call the umpire on, but I'm sure Dan had convinced him it was probably just the one, so he's
Set
accepted
score
that.
8-8 after 8 ends.
Big difference between getting a 2 and a 1 there, because if he'd picked a 2 up, it meant Jason then required to get a 2 the last end. It's just winner takes all now at this last end. Very similar to the first set.
It's come down to the final end of both sets. Neil Furman wins this end. He takes his place in the second round against David Gourlay. Jason Greenslade wins this end, and we go into tie break. Been an interesting
Jack
game,
length
really,
28.5
Darren.
metres.
Both players have played some good bowls, but both players played some loose bowls and put themselves under pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think regardless of the outcome, whoever comes off on the losing end of the scorecard is probably going to think they've had an opportunity there to have won the game. So yeah, it's been very interesting. Both two very tight sets, and as I say, this ends a massive end.
Not a bad opener from Neil. It's behind, which is always good. Jason down a good line. Lacking weight, I feel.
Now, Neil, can you make the slight adjustment on your first? Certainly looks like he's down a good track here. He just has to have the right pace. He looks very good.
2 green. Your bowl. Jason, Neil's last bowl, 5 inches past Jack high.
Might force Jason to swap to the forehand now. He's sticking with the backhand. Shot clock just stopped there. Disturbance in the crowd. The umpires have the facility to stop the clock if there's a disturbance that isn't the player's fault. First time we've seen that happen at these championships. Just an unfortunate time for Jason as well.
Yeah, absolutely. He actually seemed to switch hands on the mat there after he had the disturbance. It looked like he was maybe going to try the backhand again, but
1 green and a measure.
Forehand certainly seems to give him more option to draw the shot.
Neil's got to really swap to his forehand here. Jason Greenslade's last bowls in the line for the backhand.
Yeah, Neil's down a good track again here. It's all on his pace.
They say change of hand, change of weight, but it's not wasted there. 3 bowls behind the jack from Furman, whereas Greenslade's are short.
Yeah, I mean, graphic shows it's just one. If it is just one, then Neil possibly needs a second bowl in there in case Jason runs the ball out, but interestingly enough, Jason is trying a backhand runner here. Looks just under his target. Clears the front ball, he's so close. Jason's in a heap of trouble now, particularly if he's made it 2 green.
2 green.
And Neil can go back to his preferred backhand as well.
Yeah, you know what, he's lying. I mean, Jason could drive all the balls out, I suppose, so it's lying really well. Interesting choice for Neil here. Whether he feels he needs to try and get another one maybe back onto the centre line and force Jason to draw it.
The only place he could actually drop shots is on the re-spot. Looks like he might be trying to draw to get best to the re-spot, just short. That hasn't changed anything for Jason.
No, I'm not sure it has actually. It's a poor ball from Neil. I'm not sure he's achieved his objective. I can understand him going to the re-spot if he'd executed it, but he's not. So Jason has the opportunity to drive the 2 balls off. He would lie the one he needs. He gets the jack, there's a chance he's going to score on the re-spot to the right hand side as we look, so just feel Jason's been sort of struggling a wee bit for pace, just the pace of the green, so I'm sure he's going to run this.
Well, do we see another seed out of the tournament? This bowl to keep his chances alive. I think it's under. Neil Furman takes his place in the
2
second
shots,
round
second
against
set match.
David
Neil
Gurley.
Furman.
Thanks for your
Ladies and
company,
gentlemen,
Darren.
come and show your appreciation
Thanks,
for Neil
Janice.
Furman.
Great game to watch. Neil did extremely well.
Thanks very much for your company this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Join us again at 2 o'clock for Jonathan Ross versus James Rippey.